Brian Weeks here again with another MMCD contract consideration. This video clip will cover the topic of math errors at tender. Sometimes a tender will come in that contains mathematical errors. To avoid having to automatically throw out that tender, the MMCD provides some rules allowing the owner a limited amount of discretion to make changes. Although the courts have mandated that in general owners must treat bidders fairly, as long as owners state how they will evaluate tenders for award, they can impose almost any rules they wish, as long as the owner follows those rules. In other words, full disclosure means an owner does not have to play fair. Prospective tenderers can choose whether or not they like the rules enough to bid. Under the MMCD process, the rules of tendering an award are set out in the Instructions to Tenderers. Specifically, Instructions to Tenderers 15.4 clearly states how incorrect and missing data will be handled. Here's what an owner can, that is, must do. A, fix a mathematical extension error using the unit price tendered. In other words, unit price governs. B, if a unit price exists but the extension was omitted, enter the correct extension. C, if a unit price was omitted but an extension was provided, back calculate the unit price. But if both the unit price and the extended total were omitted, the owner must do a test. On the other hand, there are some things an owner must not do. An owner must not use page totals to back calculate missing data, nor may they use the total tender price to back calculate any missing data. So just what is the test an owner must do if both a unit price and an extension are missing from one line item? Step 1, find the highest unit price submitted by any bidder for this tender line item. 2, temporarily substitute this value into the tender in question and recalculate the total tender price. 3, if the new test total has a material effect, the tender must be discarded. A material effect means either A, the test total exceeds the original total price by over 1%, or the test total would alter the ranking of the tenders. Step 4, if the change is not material, the owner must substitute 0 for the unit price. Then, if awarded, the contractor must do this item for free. Let's do some examples to clarify how this works. Here's example 1. The facts are that the apparent low bid was submitted at $250,000. However, the low bid tenderer omitted to price line item 10, which had a quantity of 20. The next closest bid was $254,000, and the highest unit price submitted by any bidder on this tender for line item 10 was $500 each. So we do the recalculation by temporarily substituting a unit price of $500 for the missing item. The revised test total is now $250,000 plus 20 times 500, or $260,000. The test results. The test total is 4% higher than as submitted. 260,000 over 250,000 is 104%. The test total would alter the ranking of the tenders, as the second low bidder's price is under the test total. So what's the outcome? The missing data has a material effect on the results, and the tender must be discarded. The owner will then evaluate the second low bidder, and if that tender is accepted, will pay $4,000 more than for the low bid submitted with the missing data. Now, in example 2, everything's the same except that the low bid is $265,000. What happens now? Let's review the facts. The apparent low bid was submitted at $250,000. The low bid tenderer omitted to price line item 10, which had a quantity of 20. The next closest bid was $265,000. And the highest unit price submitted by any bidder on this tender for line item 10 was $500 per each. Again, we do the recalculation to get the test total. We temporarily substitute a unit price of $500 for the missing item. The test total then becomes $250,000 plus 20 times $500, or $260,000, the same as in example 1. What are the results? the test total is still 4% higher than as submitted, the same as in example 1. But now, the test total would not alter the ranking of the tenders because the second low bidder's price is over the test total. So what's the outcome in this example? The missing data still has a material effect on the results as it would have increased the bid by more than 1%. So the tender must be discarded. The owner will then evaluate the second low bid, and if that tender is accepted, the owner will pay $15,000 more than it would have for the low bid submitted with the missing data if it had been possible to accept that tender. Okay, now for the last example. We have the same set of facts as in example 1, except that the highest price bid for line item 10 by any of the other bidders was $100 each, not $500 as we've been using before. What happens now? The facts are the apparent low bid was submitted at $250,000. The low bid tender omitted to price line item 10, which had a quantity of 20. And the highest unit price submitted by any bidder on this tender for line item 10 was $100. Doing the recalculation as before, we temporarily substitute a unit price of $100 for the missing line item. The revised test total is now $250,000 plus 20 times 100, or $252,000. So what are the test results? The test total is 0.8% higher than as submitted. That's $252,000 divided by $250,000. The test total would not alter the ranking of the tenders. In other words, the second low bidder's price is over the test total. So what's the outcome? This time, the missing data does not have a material effect on the test results as it passed both parts of the test. So the tender is still valid. The owner must then substitute a 0 for the missing unit price. If awarded, the contractor must still do the 20 items of work, but for no revenue. To summarize, keep in mind that the MMCD allows limited discretion for an owner to fix mathematical errors on tenders submitted. However, the owner must follow the rules set out in IT 15.4, whether it is to the owner's advantage or detriment. Failure to do so could lead to a court challenge by a bidder who thought they should have been given the award. I hope this has helped clarify this contract consideration. Please check our website for further assistance and to see what other topics are presented in this series. Thanks for watching.